Hi, Zeus here. I had a great start to Season 75 of Warships and reached Gold tier on the first day. After a 5 times win streak, I reached 207 on the global leaderboard and 39 on the US leaderboard. And I want to show you how I did it. One particularly good thing about this season is that the meta, in the beginning of the season at least, is very friendly to players who do not have instant training. So more people can take advantage of the opportunity to play warships and be very competitive. All right, this is my boss battle for Gold tier. And even though I'm a 3-engine player, I'm consistently going up against 4-engine players here. The key to this strategy, especially without any flares, is you have to find the balance between the number of tanks that you send on each of the landing areas. These landing zones have a number of different defenses, and if you time it just right and you balance it just right, you can have the entire base cleared very rapidly. I also am using brick with battle orders, which speeds up my attack, and it also speeds up the damage of the tanks that I am dealing. Now, when I am attacking players who have shock mines, I'm also using one boat of level 1 undercover riflemen. And when my riflemen or my tanks or my brick are at risk of dying based on rolling over too many mines or boom mines, I throw down, if I have the energy, a crystal shield projector. However, I only have that gunboat ability on level 1. I also only have my shocks on level 1 and the med kit on level 1. So I finished with 2 minutes and 56 seconds. So this is a victory, and this will take me to Gold tier, and I've won my boss battle. Again, my base is a dirty 3-engine base and very difficult for any player who does not have tanks to get through and quickly clear the base. In a second, I'm going to show you my base, and it's actually a base that I copied off of Missy Elliott, a friend of mine in the collective. So kudos to her and her great strategy. Now, here is the tech tree that I'm using. I have the undercover riflemen on level 1, the hidden warriors on level 1, and I mentioned all of the gunboat energy abilities on level 1. Everything else I've pretty much maxed out, and now I'm going to max out with this new chest, the Sergeant Brick, and upgrade it to max level. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, if I'm going to open the 4th engine, because I'm beating consistently all the 4-engine players. The next item is the microwaver, and then to get max cannons would be the smart move next. So I'm not sure if I'm going to wait and open it, or I'm just going to go straight to 5 and open it. I'm a little bit concerned about the artillery. One of the battles you'll see coming up here next was a really extremely skilled player that I know who goes by the in-game name of Master Chef, and he nearly beat my base using artillery. So it's a little bit of a concern of mine not having artillery, but it is so far off the path. It does give you building health too, so that's another consideration, but it is really far off the path. All right, this time I landed a lot more tanks on the right side. As you can see, by timing it correctly, I was able to get the vast bulk of my tanks up on that concentrated area of defense. And now I'm able to trigger brick battle orders and quickly finish the base. This next base I had a little more trouble with because it's designed very cleverly, especially to trip up players like myself who do not have flares. As you can see, the path would normally route your troops to the left across the middle, and a little bit concerned about that because it could end up that it takes me a really long time to get to the final engine in the back middle there. And that's exactly what happened, except the way that I positioned my troops, I did get 6 tanks to get to the back, middle, rear a little bit faster, and that was enough to secure the win. Again, how you land the tanks is critically important. Now here's a battle against a really nasty, dirty 3-engine base. And note all of those shock mines that are going to slow me up. And I can't send any troops, since I don't have flare, down the right side until I get all of the defenses along the right edge cleaned out. And you see, even though that one mortar didn't go down until just as the tanks were hitting the yellow stripes, one of my tanks ended up going left because of that factor. Now, I've got all those boom mines there, but it's actually okay for the tanks because at max health and with one crystal shield projector, I'm not going to lose any tanks as I'm cleaning out that back rear engine. Another key factor in that victory was using the undercover rifleman one boat to clean up all of the shock mines. All right, here's another 4-engine base. This one's got amplifiers in the concentrated area in the back and a microwaver. So I trigger battle ores 2 times on the landing. One of the problems with battle ores and brick is that brick gets ahead of the tanks, and you got to be really careful to not lose brick early on, or else it's going to take a really long time for your tanks to get to the back of the base. And then you use shocks to protect brick until you run out of gunboat energy. And brick went down here, but again, I already got my tanks to the rear, so it really didn't slow me down more than a few seconds. Now, this base is a nastier version of the earlier one, with all of the defenses across the middle drawing you to the left. And it also has an amplifier and a microwaver. So I landed 5 boats of tanks and brick, and continuously triggering battle orders as I have the gunboat energy to the right side and 3 tanks to the left. And I'm hoping that I can just clear the base as fast as possible, and then my troops will just have to get to the back rear as soon as I finish taking out this last engine on the left. I lose brick there, but not the end of the world, because again, I got almost all the way through the base with brick. And it was good enough for the win because my opponent actually fizzled on my base. My opponent was Master Chef, a really skilled player, one of the best in the game. And he was using artillery on my right rear engine. And it only had a tiny sliver of health at the end, and that's what really did him in. That extra 10% building health was the difference that allowed me to make that a victory instead of a loss to a very skilled player. In this battle, the split was 6 tanks right, 2 tanks left, and I lost brick early, unfortunately, but because of the split and how I handled it, I got through the base very fast. My time was 3 minutes flat, and my opponent was 2 minutes and 56 seconds, so I barely eked out the win, but it was good enough. So here I am attacking a base very similar to mine, which is a 3-engine base with 2 damage amplifiers, and then the 1 engine protected by a few defenses on the upper right rear. The key to winning here is to trigger brick battle orders as frequently as you can while not losing brick, and you have to clear all of the defenses along the right edge before you can have your troops past that yellow hash line near the landing zone. In this battle, I landed 5 boats of tanks left, and then 1 boat of undercover riflemen with 2 tanks right. And you'll notice half of the riflemen actually went left and only half went right. It ended up working out because the riflemen that went left cleared some more of the mines that were still there. But it just goes to show that you cannot put the troops down too early on the right side, and timing's everything to pull out a win. Now here I put brick and 4 boats of tanks down on the left side, and on the right side, just as they cleaned out the last mortar and sniper tower on the right edge, put down 1 boat of undercover riflemen and 3 boats of tanks. And the riflemen are clearing out the mines there, and the 3 boats of tanks survive and take out the final engine. It wasn't a slow time, 2 minutes and 41 seconds, but I did lose that battle to a player who had a really fast time on my base, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. All right, here's the last one I want to show you. Here I am trying to keep my brick alive as long as possible against the Semo, but it's pretty well impossible with the amount of gunboat energy that I have. But I did get through and cleared the right edge relatively fast. And then I threw down a boat of riflemen. I put a crystal shield projector on top of them so they wouldn't all die right away, at least a shock down to prevent the remaining undercover riflemen from dying before I get through the last few mines. Don't really mind so much losing the undercover riflemen because the main thing is just to make sure the tanks get through as fast as possible. All right, well, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give this video a like. It'll help us with the the algorithm, so more players can see and learn from what we're doing. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. We've got over 250 videos on a variety of Boom Beach topics for you to explore and learn from. And thanks as always to Hercules for help with the video editing.